At Canik Firearms, we believe in the power of freedom. Freedom to protect, to defend, and to live confidently. That's why we're proud to introduce the Canik Mete MC9L and MC9LS, precision-engineered pistols designed for today's American. Whether you're carrying concealed or out at the range, the MC9L and MC9LS are built for accuracy, durability, and comfort. These pistols are the perfect blend of performance and dependability, because freedom isn't just a right, it's a responsibility. Canik, superior firearms.
You're listening to Late Night Radio on the SHR Media Network. Caution, there will be mature themes explored and potentially adult language used. If conservatarian words, phrases, certain concepts, or rhetoric offends you, tune out now.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
I have come here to chew bubble gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubble.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show. Live and direct right here on the SHR Media Network, where I am broadcasting finally in an actual free state. Today is Thursday. It is October the 17th, the year of our Lord 2024. I am your conservative Sherpa. I used to look like this back when I was thin and svelte. Now I just look like this, and that's what this has done for me. Basically, by being your conservative Sherpa, I'm guiding you through the maelstrom of Democrat, leftist, and globalist lies, chaos, deceit, and betrayal. And please note, disclaimer, what you're about to watch in here tonight consists of my opinion, and my opinion only, and those of my two treasured guests tonight, with whom we shall be getting to in just a moment. I am doing the job the American media maggots won't. I am fundamentally changing America one leftist diaper at a time. And I have to tell you, per normal, we don't water our drinks just like we don't water our conversation. We're still serving stiff drinks in the saloon, along with facts, history, logic, rationality, proportion, context, tradition, and common sense for normal people. You know, like you and me and my guests. So, politics, religion, crime, culture, race, sex, economics, science, law. We talk about it all right here in the saloon where the speech is free, but the booze, sadly, is not. We are streaming live on Rumble right now. Also live at shrmedia.com. Kind of looks like this. And also, we're on Twitch. We're on Twitch. We're on whoever named that. We're on X and the SHR Media YouTube channel. And thank you ever so kindly. If you would, there for all to see is my sumptuous and palatial, both of those things, and resplendent and plush. I keep forgetting plush chat room. So jump into our chat room. If you're on Rumble, go to live chat. Just click on live chat. And after having done that, you'll be into the Chatabus station. And also, if you would, if I can ask you very kindly, please share the show. If you would, while we are live, I would grandly appreciate it. And subscribe. Because like I've said before, and this is true, this is because would I ever lie to you? And the answer is, come on. The more people that subscribe to the show, the more vodka I get. Not the cheap stuff. We're talking Kettle One, okay? Because my refueling team has to have the source somewhere. So give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and then I get more vodka. Because that's heavy fuel. That's upon which the kind of thing that I run. And so tonight, I would like to introduce my grand acts This is Ralph Chittums. And then also along with Ralph is our good friend and partner in crime, Lonnie Poindexter. And Ralph Chittums and Lonnie Poindexter, each one of these lovely and stellar individuals used to have shows right here on the SHR Media Network before it all fell apart and Wuhan 19 killed it and a bunch of other things just on account of because. So I moved in 21. And when I moved, it took me about 2 years to get my audience back together because the show died for about 2 years. And Ralph hasn't been on since I think about 2019, right around in there. So Ralph, to the new audience, because I'm trying to build a new audience back, Ralph is new to these people. So everybody knows who Lonnie is. Let's see if I get this right. Lonnie, yeah, there he is, right below there. And then I have to point the opposite direction to say that we're going to be talking to this gentleman right here. Talk to the hand to Ralph Chittums Sr. Ralph had a show. Lonnie had a show. Lonnie, I think, he'd like to come back. And Ralph, were you ever considering maybe doing another show yourself, or is just life swept you and there's too much other good stuff to do?
I would love to do another show, but there's so much stuff going on right now that it's kind of hard to find the time when I could squeeze it in. Yeah. But I do miss it.
I bet you do. See, that's the thing. Sackhead Sean missed it, and we had a discussion before the show on that. And when it's in your blood, it's kind of your blood, which is, again, why, come on, point to the right way. There we go. Why Lonnie, I think, wants to have a show again. So Ralph Chittums Sr., tell people a little bit about you, if you would, your background, where you are today. I think you're still in DC, are you not?
Yeah, I'm still knee deep in the swamp.
I bet. Wait a minute, wrong way, point right. Okay, I bet this guy over here has tails that would curl your tail.
Yeah.
Look at him nod.
Well, a short intro. Well, first, thanks for having me on. There was no way in the world I was going to turn down this invitation. So thanks.
Thank you.
So to introduce myself, my name's Ralph J. Chittums Sr. I do live in Washington, D.C. I do not live in Virginia. I do not live in Maryland. I actually live within the geographic confines of Washington, D.C. Yes, we do exist.
And it is a swamp. So he keeps his swamp waders with him all the time.
Exactly. So just a little background on me. I'm currently a pastor at a church in Maryland. I'm bivocational, so I have a regular day job in addition to my pastoral duties. In the past, I was the senior vice chairman of the DC Republican Party.
Okay.
Here in Washington, D.C. For 4 years. So I had a front row seat to all of the shenanigans of partisan politics. And let's just say partisan politics, even on the Republican side, is not for the faint of heart. It's just as nasty and it's just as dirty as any Democrat. So I've stepped out of the political realm because I've stepped more into, like it's the pastoral duties that I'm doing. But I still speak out on conservative issues, conservative causes, and I am not ashamed.
Not at all.
I remember that what was your tagline on your show? I may occasionally be wrong, but I will always be right.
That's it. I will always be right. Did I get that right?
Did I remember that properly?
Yeah.
And you also, if I'm not mistaken, you were involved in something called Black Elephants.
Yes.
Conservatives.
Black Elephant Consultants. That was a consultant organization that I had created to just help Black candidates with conservative messaging. The problem was, and the problem still is, that most Republicans don't know how to properly communicate across different demographics. And so I stepped in to try to fill that void. And unfortunately, that was a void that the RNC and the powers that be didn't think was necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why everybody's amazed now that Donald Trump is able to, get the support that he's gotten. But if they had listened to people like me and Lonnie, going back to 2016,
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing I customarily say is, and I'm sure that people have said that to you, or maybe you've said it to others around you, is of all the crazy things that have occurred with conservatives, mostly the Republican Party, why did it take basically a non-politician, Donald John Trump, OMB, Orange Man Bad, the guy with the dead orange cat on his head, why did it take him to say something similar to, the tent is wide, it's open, I want you, I need you, and what have you got to lose? Why did it take this guy, a billionaire, to say what I consider to be the obvious? Why wouldn't you want, as Lonnie says, every individual of every possible paint job in the tent, if they're a conservative, fighting for you? I could never understand that. I could never get it.
Well, the answer to that question is very simple. Most of the Republicans at the top of the power structure have the emotional bandwidth of toddlers.
Wait a minute. I do this for that.
And what I mean when I say that is they don't understand the concept of deferred gratification.
Mm-hmm.
What we're seeing now with Donald Trump possibly pulling 25, 30% of the black vote, people need to understand that this was a process that started back in 2012 with the second Obama term.
Mm-hmm.
Because Obama lost a lot of black support during his second term, when black people who voted for him simply because he was black the first time realized that he hadn't done anything for them and didn't vote for him the second time. And then, come 2016, all of a sudden now, Fox 5, Fox News, all of a sudden now they want to go to the black barbershops and they want to have conversations.
Yeah.
I was doing this back in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
I was going into the barbershops and talking about Trump and talking about Hillary Clinton. And I had people telling me in the black barbershops back then in 15, you convinced me I'm going to vote for Trump, or there's no way in the world I can vote for Hillary Clinton considering what you just told me.
Mm-hmm.
But most people at the top of these party structures, Democrats and Republicans, they don't want to deal with deferred gratification. If you can't guarantee them a win this election cycle, right now, they don't want to talk to you.
See, I don't grok that concept. I don't get it. What elections will continue to occur continuously, perpetually, as far as we know.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody is a conservative, well, that's essentially what the show is about tonight. And because leftists always make it about race, I'll regale everybody with this tale. During the first iteration of the show, I would occasionally, at the close of the show, I would give out my email. And from that, I got a couple of kudos, and then I found out that I was listened to by truckers on Spreaker, audio only, at night, because it was a late night show for them. And then I had people sending me nasty grams. Oh, woe is me. And one of them actually said, "Why do you have so many black people on your show?" Well, first, after I got over the stupidity of that, then I began to mention it during the show, as in, people need to understand that blacks, Asians, Hispanics, whites, whomever, they're not a monolithic block. And when you're conservative, I don't give a crap who you are. Well, I mean, I like you guys. But I don't give a crap what your paint job is, because if you're conservative, like Trump said, we need you. We need you in the tent. Why wouldn't we want to have as many people get together? And I didn't even reply to that email. It was so ridiculously stupid.
At Canic Firearms, we believe in the power of freedom. Freedom to protect, to defend, and to live confidently. That's why we're proud to introduce the Canic Mete MC9L and MC9LS, precision-engineered pistols designed for today's American. Whether you're carrying concealed or out at the range, the MC9L and MC9LS are built for accuracy, durability, and comfort. These pistols are the perfect blend of performance and dependability, because freedom isn't just a right, it's a responsibility. Canic, superior firearms.
If you're a facilities manager at a university, you know students rely on the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the occasional late-night snack. So when a dishwasher breaks down and dirty plates pile up, the mess hall can turn messy in the blink of an eye. Enter Grainger. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast delivery, the product you need now is never far away. So you can turn that dishwasher back into a lean, clean washing machine. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
But, from someone who apparently claimed that they were a Republican. But it's ignorance of that kind of thing. All I'm doing is proving conservatives are everywhere, and why wouldn't you want to talk to every conservative that you possibly can, and get everybody focused? It's like my dad quantified a C-124, which was a Douglas Globemaster that he used to fly after having been in World War II. And he described it as 1 million rivets driving the same direction or flying the same direction the same day. Why wouldn't we want 1 million rivets, 2, 10, 30, 100 million rivets flying the same direction the same day? We're stupid if we don't. And then, Mr. Bad Tan, it got him going. And then the walk away thing started to roll and whatnot. So tonight I have these two gentlemen on. And like I said to them before, I know you know the answers, but not everybody who watches knows, or maybe is not cognizant of all of these things. I have a ton of videos to show displaying the fact that Black Americans being treated as they are and were historically as well. Why are they pissed off? Why are they saying these things? It's it's black males, it's white males, and I'm going to ask also later, males, why males? Are we striating into the point where, the Democrats are kind of leaning towards women's, and the conservatives or Republicans are kind of leaning towards men? So where is this going? In the process of this, and I'm going to, I know there's one that I'm definitely going to have to give a warning about. There will be some nasty F and S words coming. And the reason I'm going to play this video is, as I indicated to Ralph, this video astounds me, absolutely astounds me, as in, where did this come from? Where did this rancor come from in this guy who's a rapper? And this is the last video that I would ever think would have been issued by some guy. Well, you'll see the video. I will warn you, I'm not going to play all of it. You'll get the gist of it after about 30 or 40 seconds or so. And then, because Ralph heard it. And then we'll move on. but I've got a ton of videos, like the show that I did with regards to FEMA and why FEMA is just a massive cock up. I did 3 hours of videos of FEMA screwing up, but that's fake news. Well, I didn't have to make that up. I couldn't have inserted all those thoughts into all those people's heads. I wanted them to speak for themselves. And I wanted people to understand the situation in those states, North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, etc. And like that, with tonight, I want people to hear others in their own words, in their own environment, with their own friends and relatives, speaking about what's going on. And then we're going to have these two gentlemen, Ralph Chittims and Lonnie Poindexter, weigh in during this. And we need to understand, that this is the deal. Something I've never seen before. I have never seen this before. We're late, as Ralph has said. You could have done this earlier. Lonnie said you could have done this earlier. You could have gotten more people into the tent. Well, that's in the past. There's nothing we can do about that right now. But we're, my biggest question that I'm going to ask you guys sometime during the show is, this is a proverbial sea change. I'm 74. I've never seen this stuff before. And so I'm going to tap your expertise, your training, education, and experience, and have you guys weigh in on what is developing. As in, is this just temporary? Is this something that we're just going to see for this iteration of the election? And it's only going to have to do with, say, the presidential election. Will it have anything to do with the Senate? Will it have anything to do with the House? Will it have anything to do with down ballot voting and local voting? I kind of think it will. But we're going to take a trip. It's a journey. It's an adventure. I'm hoping to have these two guys. I'm a conservative Sherpa. Tonight, these guys are conservative Sherpas too, because they're going to be guiding us through this maelstrom of stuff that I kind of don't get. I'm happy about it. Make no mistake. But I've never seen this kind of stuff before. And with that, I'm going to do a jackass. I'm going to do some happy stories. And then boom, we folks are, do I have that up? Yes, we're going to be off to the races.
The bloviating Zeppelins, HeyJackass.com Chicago death toll update. Courtesy of every leftist running that city. From the mayor, police chief, and every autocrat in the 50 wards.
So that's HeyJackass.com, HeyJackass.com, illustrating Chicago values, Chicago, the city of big shoulders. October to date, shot and killed 27, shot and wounded 104, total shot 131, total homicides 28. Week in progress, October the 13th to October the 19th, shot and killed 10, shot and wounded 11, total shot 21, total homicides 11, the big numbers. Year to date, shot and killed 443, shot and wounded 2,085, total shot in Chicago, 2,528 people. Total homicides, 499. So a person in Chicago is shot every 2 minutes and 45 seconds. And a person is murdered in Chicago every 13 minutes and 59 seconds.
The bloviating Zeppelins, HeyJackass.com Chicago death toll update. Courtesy of every leftist running that city. From the mayor, police chief, and every autocrat in the 50 wards.
And because we're talking about Chicago, it's my kind of town. Human head found on box in Chicago's west side. This is October 14th. An investigation was underway after a human skull was found inside a box last week in the East Garfield Park neighborhood. Does that sound eerily reminiscent of the movie Seven, if you haven't seen that? Police said shortly before 6 p.m. on Thursday, somebody walking on the sidewalk of the 2600 block of West Taylor Street in Chicago found a box containing human remains. The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office later confirmed it was a human head inside the box. So, yay, Chicago. Great thing. Oh, I played this. I played this on a show about 2 weeks ago or so, but these are so good. I got to play them again. So here's this one. I love these.
So is Kamala doing okay?
Nope. She's down, Joe. I think they found out that she's retarded. Now we're basically fucked. Trump is killing us at the polls. So yes, we're going to lose Joe.
Damn it. Wait. What if I come back to run again?
As candidate?
Yeah.
Well, let me put it this way, Joe. The only person in this world who is even more retarded than Kamala Harris is basically you. So no, Joe,
on, man.
you're
Just
not going
give it
back
another
yet.
shot.
Let's let it all play out. Okay. We'll talk later, Joe.
Okay.
Women looking fine up in here.
That's worth the price of the video just by itself. And of course, here are people that are waiting for the arrival of P. Diddy. So they're doing various training exercises, awaiting his arrival in some kind of a federal prison. And I want to point this out to you. These are folks that vote.
Okay.
Renting a paddle boat.
No, that is not correct. Sean, it's your turn. $500.
T.
Yes, 2 T's.
I'd like to buy an E.
Mm-hmm. There are 2 E's. And no more vowels.
I like to solve.
Yeah.
Renting a paddle boat.
Super dummies. No, that's not right. Michelle, you have $3,000. You can spin again, but you don't have to.
Oh.
$600. What letter do you want?
M.
At Century Arms, we're committed to supporting your freedom, your rights, and your way of life. With generations of craftsmanship and innovation, we proudly provide firearms that embody the spirit of liberty. Introducing the new Sharp Brothers MB-47 rifle, designed for precision, built for strength, and ready for anything. Whether you're on the range or defending what matters most, the MB-47 rifle is where generation meets innovation. For more information, visit us at centuryarms.com now.
The spin.
$900.
W?
No, Sean? Okay.
Renting.
Wow.
Yeah, I reply to everyone. I love to play things that are funny, kind of at the beginning of the show. But I do this because these people vote. It's a reminder. These people vote. Now, in terms of videos, I've got 2 videos that I played before, but these are wonderful. I mean, these are done shockingly well. I mean, if you're smart, you can tell, oh, these aren't real. But I think I just answered my own question. So here's one.
So your husband flies to Epstein Island 27 times. Then they arrest Jeffrey Epstein, and then you kill him. Just like that. You bribe the guards, you turn off the cameras, and then you choke him to death. Will you be choking Puff Daddy this time around?
Right.
So how are you planning on doing
Well,
it?
I wanted to choke him at night and make it look like a suicide, just like Jeffrey Epstein. But then I realized Puffy might actually enjoy that. So, maybe he slips on the shower. Maybe he chokes with a piece of fried chicken. I still haven't decided yet.
That's a wonderful video done well. Here's one that makes fun of Newsom, because I love making fun of Newsom, even though I'm not there anymore. In California, we spell it with a K.
Hi, I'm Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. This is a message for the people of America, given in my authentically recorded, non-AI voice. Thanks to my leadership over the last several years, California has become a world leader in extremist left-wing governance. My policies were so effective that almost 1 million people are now fleeing the state every year. We even ran out of U-Hauls. During the COVID pandemic, I locked everyone in their homes and shut down businesses for months. Not the French Laundry, though. That's my favorite restaurant. Last year, I cleaned up the dangerous, messy streets of San Francisco, because Chinese Communist President Xi was coming, and I really wanted to impress him. He's my boss, after all. This year, I signed legislation that allows me to take custody of your kid if you refuse to give him artificial hormones and chop off his genitals. Because if you don't do that, you're a bigot, and bigots shouldn't be allowed to have kids. I've also led the way in green energy by banning all cars that don't run on electricity. Then I banned almost all the electricity. This is smart leadership. On my watch, the cost of living and homelessness have skyrocketed. Schools are failing. Drug dealers and human traffickers are pouring across the border. And poop has covered the sidewalks of San Francisco. This is the positive, joyful vision we offer as Democrats. That's why I'm enthusiastically endorsing Kamala Harris for president in 2024. She'll do to the country everything I did in California. Anyway, I'm California Governor Gavin Newsom, and I approve this 100% real message, which is a recording of my voice without the assistance of any AI whatsoever. This isn't a deep fake, and you can rest assured that it isn't, because I just signed an unconstitutional law outlawing deep fakes. No one would dare violate it.
Especially me. So now it's a perfect time. Let's take a break. I'm BZ. We have over on the right, let's see if I get this right, over here, Ralph J. Chittums Sr., pastor, and down below, Lonnie Poindexter. And thank you, gentlemen, ever so kindly for being here tonight. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, are you guys listening? This is Shannon from Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM on SHR Media. I know you've been wondering where we are and what's been going on. Well, folks, that's right. We're back. So please join us 7 to 9 a.m. Monday through Thursday on SHR Media, on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Spotify, and Facebook Live at 11 a.m. on Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM at Facebook. You don't want to miss a minute. We've got lots of guests, lots of segments, and lots of interesting things. And let's face it, there's nowhere for you to go, so you might as well tune in. Again, Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM. We're back live on the air on SHR Media, 7 to 9 a.m. Monday through Thursday, audio and Facebook Live, audio and video. Yes, we are going to do video. Facebook Live, Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM. Hope to see you soon.
Want to make an immediate difference in the life of a critically ill child? You have the ability to do that right now. Make a donation to Dream Makers for Life, the organization that restores dreams to seriously ill children and their families. You can sponsor a dream pack for a child, which contains a clear PVC backpack, a dry erase board adventure coloring book, a journal, and dry erase markers to inspire a critically ill child to envision a future adventure and hope. Want to become a dream maker for life yourself? Go to dreamforlife.org. That's dreamforlife.org. Help a child. Help a family. There is always hope.
Unleashed Jeremy Hansen, the most explosive pro-American podcast on the planet. Pro-MAGA, pro-Trump, pro-conservative. Come join the resistance. Fight for what really matters in America. 5 p.m. Central on UJHLive.com, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Pandora, or MAGAbook.com. Come join the resistance and fight for America. Unleashed Jeremy Hansen.
Do you value yourself, your family, your friends? Want to know more about how to survive, thrive, and stay alive in these dynamic times? Listen to Around the Campfire with Kate, Thursday nights and Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Central, only on PSN TV. That's Around the Campfire with Kate. News that nobody in the MSM wants to report. Remember, train hard, train smart to survive, thrive, and stay alive.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I am BZ. I am your conservative Sherpa, and I'm here to tell you that you are watching my show. The guests tonight are the wondrous Ralph J. Chittams Sr. and also the stellar Lonnie Poindexter. And we're talking about this kind of revolution that's occurring. We went funny haha just for a moment, but now it's time to talk about, well,
At Century Arms, we're committed to supporting your freedom, your rights, and your way of life. With generations of craftsmanship and innovation, we proudly provide firearms that embody the spirit of liberty. Introducing the new Sharp Brothers MB-47 rifle, designed for precision, built for strength, and ready for anything. Whether you're on the range or defending what matters most, the MB-47 rifle is where generation meets innovation. For more information, visit us at centuryarms.com now.
The things that we got here, I was going to do happy stories, but we've already gone through well, you know what? I do have someone or a couple of them that I do need to play, because one of them in particular, I really like.
It's time for happy stories and good times.
So here's one. It's all about leadership and mean tweets, blah, blah, blah. I mostly don't care what you say, but I care what you do. And this is a matter of action and speaking. And this is how a leader acts during, for example, I think this was a NATO conference or a NATO summit. This is how Trump spoke, and this is how Trump treated the EU. This is a leader.
Sad when Germany makes a massive oil and gas deal with Russia, where you're supposed to be guarding against Russia, and Germany goes out and pays billions and billions of dollars a year to Russia. So we're protecting Germany, we're protecting France, we're protecting all of these countries. And then numerous of the countries go out and make a pipeline deal with Russia, where they're paying billions of dollars into the coffers of Russia. So we're supposed to protect you against Russia, but they're paying billions of dollars to Russia. And I think that's very inappropriate. And the former chancellor of Germany is the head of the pipeline company that's supplying the gas. Ultimately, Germany will have almost 70% of their country controlled by Russia with natural gas. So you tell me, is that appropriate? I mean, I've been complaining about this from the time I got in. It should have never been allowed to have happened. But Germany is totally controlled by Russia, because they were getting from 60 to 70% of their energy from Russia and a new pipeline.
They've never had anybody speak to them like this before, like a boss. This is what a leader doesn't sound like.
So are they misguided, the 50%? Are they stupid? What is it?
I would never say that about the American people.
Really?
What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid.
So are they misguided, the 50%? Are they stupid? What is it?
I would never say that about the American people.
Exactly.
What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid.
That's how a real leader speaks? You really want to go there? You want to say that? Here's a happy story. This just came out. Hundreds of national security officials, ex-cabinet members, and Gold Star families endorse Trump, like the 51 intelligence specialists who endorsed the Hunter Biden laptop Russian lie. That's a happy story, as is this. Miriam Adelson dumped $95 million into the pro-Trump super PAC. As far as I'm concerned, that's a really happy story. I went through this on the last show. I'm going to glaze over it very briefly. The DOD came out with this, a directive, Defense Intelligence Component Assistance. People say, oh, this is a long time ago. No, this just came out September 27th. Of this year, and assistance in responding, in the yellow portion that I'm reading, with assets with potential for lethality or any situation in which it is reasonably foreseeable that providing the requested assistance may involve the use of force that is likely to result in lethal force, including death or serious bodily injury. It also includes all support to civilian law enforcement officials in situations where a confrontation between civilian law enforcement, you can see where this is going, and civilian individuals or groups is reasonably anticipated. Beware. You were warned. You heard it first. Now, we're going to transition. See what I did there? Into the person that we already spoke to. Listen carefully.
Is agreeing to voter ID one of those compromises that you'd support?
I don't think that we should underestimate what that could mean. Because in some people's mind, that means, well, you're going to have to Xerox or photocopy your ID to send it in to prove you are who you are. Well, there are a whole lot of people, especially people who live in rural communities, who don't, there's no Kinko's, there's no Office Max near them. People have to understand that when we're talking about voter ID laws, be clear about who you have in mind and what would be required of them to prove who they are. Of course, people have to prove who they are, but not in a way that makes it almost impossible for them to prove who they are.
Gentlemen, any thoughts on this arrogant, condescending, smug comment to the point where I almost don't know what she meant? You're going to have to photocopy an ID for what? I don't get any of this. But this is her. These are her statements. Gentlemen, any comments?
Ralph, you go. Well, that comment by Kamala Harris is just as stupid as the comment that was made by the New York governor, Kathy Hochul, who said that black people are like chimpanzees and don't know how to use computers.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Every black person I know has an Android or an iPhone. That's a handheld computer. So here we go again with this talk that black people are just stupid and are incapable of operating in society with any sort of intellect or intelligence. And we have to be spoon-fed like an orca at SeaWorld, and we can't feed ourselves.
Lonnie?
Ditto. I sit here laughing. I've got 90-something-year-old parents. I have aunties that are well into their 80s. My grandmother, who we lost just a few short years ago, was proficient on a telephone and a cell phone specifically. And my parents sent text messages, photographs, and everything else. This mindset that we're some subset of Americans that don't have access. Ralph, it was the same individual who was talking about that young black people in the hood would not have the ability because they don't have computers and things like that. I don't know anybody. I got relatives live in the projects who have PCs and cell phones and what have you. So I don't know where this is coming from other than this agenda to keep us. You know the pictures, Ralph, that we see all the time, that whenever they want to stir up the racism with the old guard of Black Americans who actually went through some hardship, is they show pictures of blacks and shacks and maybe with no shoes on, these black and white photographs and so forth. They love showing that kind of stuff as if that happened, 15, 20, even 50 years ago. And it's all to drive emotion from people, those who are unaware. But, we don't know anybody. Rob doesn't know anybody. I don't know anybody. I don't care what economic spectrum they come from, middle class, lower middle class, wealthy, and even those that are in the projects who are ill-equipped to be able to address basic things like being registered to vote.
Right. But also, this whole narrative also drives the liberal white savior complex.
Yes.
Because, the good liberals, these little darkies, they can't take care of themselves. They need us beneficent white people, to provide for them, to take care of them, because these little darkies can't even get identification. Well, if you don't have identification, you can't get welfare. You can't get a driver's license. You can't get WIC. You can't vote. You can't get on an airplane. I don't know any black person anywhere in this country that does not have an ID card, but they tell this lie to perpetuate the white savior complex among the white liberal, which then gives them the moral high ground to treat us black people as little pickaninny children who need them to survive.
Amen. You can't even check a book out of the library without an ID.
Right.
You can't. If I'd been thinking, I would have had I can't think of the name of the guy who went into, I think, Brooklyn or downtown New York and asked specifically black people as they walked along, hey, do you have ID? Yeah. Do you know how to get it? Yeah. Do you know where to go for it? Yeah. Do you know where the DMV is? Yeah. Person after person after person after person after person who kills this lie. It's a lie.
But it's a control mechanism. It's a control mechanism. It keeps, like I said, the white liberal in a position of superiority because, we can't survive without them. And then it gives the black gatekeepers ammunition to use so that they can keep getting all of their big checks. Because you notice none of the black gatekeepers live in urban America. All the black gatekeepers have their big houses in the suburbs.
Sharp.
All the black gatekeepers have their McMansions. They're making their 6 and 7 figures, but they're making it by trying to convince all the other black people that they can't make it.
Well, it's simply ridiculous. And let me do this. I at first didn't want to play this video, and I won't play it all this long. Ralph heard it. I'll do maybe 30 seconds of this. But at the end, my primary question is, where did this come from? An individual like this who does this kind of entertainment, air quote, is now providing, has now managed to take the Titanic and make it physically swerve from the iceberg, and it's going somewhere else. It's going a different direction. So, folks, I want to warn you up front. If you're wearing headphones, great. If you have little kids in the room, time to make them exit, because like this kind of entertainment, it's got its share of poo-poo nasties. But again, at the end, I don't get this. I never expected to see this.
Fuck Kamala. Fuck Kamala. Fuck Kamala. Camel toe Harris, I ain't voting for that dog. She be playing on my peoples, they be sleeping on the plot. Whoever voting for that hoe, you a op. Trump 2024, we finna pop. Fuck Kamala. Fuck Kamala. We ain't voting for that hoe. Fuck Kamala. Fuck Kamala. We ain't voting for that hoe. Yep, lying Kamala. Don't ever tell the truth like lying Obama. We going through the roof in this election with the truth. People.
Okay, you get the gist of that. But what I find also interesting is that they not only mention Kamala Harris, but they also mention Obama. Now, I've got a video coming up from Obama, and then a reaction from a commentator, a sports commentator, I should add, about that video. But gentlemen, Ralph Chittum's, Lonnie Poindexter, where does that come from? I didn't do that. I didn't write it. I didn't sing it. This is not me getting into their heads. Where'd it come from?
I'll chime in and say this, that young black people, college students and so forth, they're doing their homework. See, they can step on us in media. Mainstream media can, censor us and only have one particular viewpoint coming from their platforms. But they can't stop anything on the web. They can try with Facebook and other platforms to do that. But these young people are doing their homework. These college campuses, I'll mention one in particular. My youngest, well, next to youngest nephew, attended a college in Louisiana, and it's a not the biggest college, but it's a good-sized college in Louisiana. And there were 4 or 5 young Black males who have a podcast that they do with a panel, and they are quoting Walter Williams and other conservative greats to learn the truth about the party affiliation, how the parties were started, who said what, where civil rights platforms came from, the whole 9 yards. And so the lights going off with them, and then they've counted Mr. Obama and this current vice president or current presidential candidate, and they found them lacking, and they catch them in the lies. And what they're doing is, there's 2 or 3 days a week they do their show. They pull other young Blacks from the college campus to come in and sit in, and they educate them. And I can't tell you how many times I heard them go, "Oh my God, I didn't know, I didn't know, I didn't know." And I can't tell you how many platforms are in YouTube and other platforms across the country where this isn't happening. I've never seen it take place before. And Ralph, have you seen this happen before? I've never seen it happen before.
No, it hasn't happened before. And, as I said earlier, when I introduced myself, what we're seeing now is the culmination of Black people waking up to the fact.
At Canic Firearms, we believe in the power of freedom, freedom to protect, to defend, and to live confidently. That's why we're proud to introduce the Canic Mete MC9L and MC9LS, precision-engineered pistols designed for today's American. Whether you're carrying concealed or out at the range, the MC9L and MC9LS are built for accuracy, durability, and comfort. These pistols are the perfect blend of performance and dependability, because freedom isn't just a right, it's a responsibility. Canic, superior firearms.
That Obama did nothing for Black America.
Absolutely not.
He's known more as a homosexual president than as the Black president. Now, if you go back and look at the vote totals between 2008 and 2012, Barack Obama is the first president in U.S. history that was reelected with less popular and electoral college votes in his second term than in his first term. He lost Black support in his second term because Black folks woke up and realized that when Obama said, "I'm not the president of Black America. I'm not just the president for Black people," he meant that and didn't do anything. And then you get to Donald Trump and you see what does he do? His First Step Act did more to get Black people out of prison than any president in history. And now he's running against a woman who put more Black people in prison on marijuana charges, the same thing that she jokes about doing when she was in college. People are waking up to the fact, and especially in this election, that Donald Trump did more for Black America in his 4 years than Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris have done in their 12. When Trump was in the White House, the Black colleges and universities came to him in his first year with their hats in their hands begging for money. He gave them the appropriation. They came back his second year with the hat in their hand begging for money. He said to them, "What are you doing back here? We gave you all this money last year." They said, "Mr. President, we have to do this every year. Every year we have to come up to you like beggars, whoever's in the White House, and beg for money." Trump made a permanent appropriation for historically Black colleges and universities so those presidents and provosts wouldn't have to come to Washington every year like beggars. And what did Joe Biden do his first week in office? He rescinded that funding for those historically black colleges and universities, and now they have to come up begging the white man again for funding for their universities. See, Black America is finally waking up to the fact that Trump, you may not like how he says it, but Trump produced, not just for Black America, but he produced for America. And that's why Black men specifically are gravitating towards him. Black men don't need a handout. They don't want a handout. All they want is a playing field that's even. Donald Trump isn't promising Black people anything. He's promising an America where if you put your head down and you work hard and you go for it, you can get it regardless of who you are. That's why Donald Trump is resonating right now with Black men.
Well, you mentioned leveling the playing field. This is one, what I consider to be one result from that. And Ralph, how many people have heard about what it is that you just said? My guess would be goose egg. Very few people know that historically. But if you rise the waters, all the boats go up as well. Not just over here, over there, up there. Everybody. During his first 4 years, only 4 years, Hispanic and Black unemployment was the lowest that it had ever been in 55 years. How does that happen? Well, the opportunities, apparently, because if he could do it, other persons could have. Apparently, the opportunities existed prior, but evidently some people were not motivated to think in that direction. I have to say, as one of our elder people doing podcasts right now, I've seen a lot of crap in my numerous decades on this planet. Trump is the first person that I've ever seen that kept as many campaign promises as he has.
Yes.
So, good or bad, when Trump says something about a campaign promise, and he'll phrase it, Ralph, also as you said, and Lonnie, he'll phrase it in a fashion that is not perfect. He said he was wiretapped. No, he was surveilled, and he was right. And it was a conspiracy. No, he was proven correct. But his platform and the things that he promoted, he kept more of those campaign promises than I've ever seen of a president. And I've seen presidents. I was kind of around during Eisenhower, but I became awake and understood what was going on under JFK. I want to go here. Here's a direct enticement aimed specifically at Black men to vote for Kamala Harris. This right here is directly from a Facebook ad. Oddly hypocritical considering as San Francisco DA, and you mentioned, Ralph, she charged and locked up Black men for marijuana possession like mad. 3,000 plus just for possession of dope.
And then add, not only did she get them incarcerated, but she kept them incarcerated past their release date so that she could continue to use them as slave labor inside the California penal system.
Yep.
Huh. Imagine that.
Yep. And one of the young men that she tossed in the drink, and he was incarcerated under false allegations, and eventually he was freed. Is a young man that at his sentencing, she's chuckling in the back of the courtroom at the time given to him. And he has gone on record. In fact, we've been trying to get a hold of him because we want to record him and play that back prior to the election. This young man has come out and he just comes right out and says it. He says, and she laughed as they were handing out my sentences. And he says, that shit ain't funny. And it's not. When you're thrown into jail for a number of years for something that you didn't do, because she's throwing the book at And Ralph, I was in DC when she was doing all that kind of foolishness, but I'm a California boy at heart. And it was truly, what's the word I'm looking for here? Well, you just get angry. You get angry and you get frustrated. And so I try to tell as many people as I can get my hands on the truth about what she stood for. And I'm just happy that folks are beginning to wake up because they're doing their own homework to figure out what's actually really taking place. They don't need media at all. They need platforms like ours because that's who and what they listen to, because, nobody's censoring us, at least not yet anyway.
And one of the most important things that I think that we need to say is we need to say up front, I do not want you to believe me. I want you to doubt everything that I say. I want you to believe that I am a liar. And then I want you to go out and do your research on your own to find out for yourself and then come back and talk to me.
Like you told the guys at the barbershop.
Like I told all the guys at the barbershop. I don't want you to believe me. I want you to think I'm a liar. Go out and do your research and, come back in 2 weeks and we'll pick up this conversation where we left off.
Think for yourself. Well, this continues. Now Harris is offering Black businesses, not Chinese businesses, not Salvadoran businesses, not Tongan businesses, not Hungarian businesses, $20,000. That's buying votes, period. End of statement. And Black businesses wouldn't see. Anybody here think that those businesses would see a nickel of that alleged money anyway? That's not how the Democrats work. That's not how the shindig in this game is played. It doesn't work like that.
Well, first things first, it's never going to happen because it's illegal.
Well, yes, that's not even taking into account the illegality of it.
Right.
Discrimination.
Now here's something else. Let's consider this. She says that she's going to give up to 1 million loans of $20,000 that are going to be fully forgivable. That's her shtick, right?
Yes.
If you get a loan and that loan is forgiven and you don't have to pay that loan back, doesn't that loan then become taxable income?
Yeah.
It should and probably would.
Right. So what she's basically doing is she's creating a tax burden on Black businesses that's going to make them come even harder under the thumb of the IRS and government control and scrutiny. And this is supposed to be a good thing for Black entrepreneurs.
And I should point out, it makes more money for the federal government, doesn't it? We're going to take a break. I'm talking to Ralph Chittums. I'm talking to Lonnie Poindexter. I'm BZ. You're in the saloon. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
It is he that is me, bringing perspective from across the sea. Join me, Jack Alexander, 4 days a week for the Jack Alexander Experiment podcast, as I take a unique outsider's look at the news and issues affecting life and liberty here in the USA. I'll show you what the mainstream media refuses to. Politics, border security, defense, healthcare, travel, nothing is off limits. Catch the Jack Alexander Experiment podcast each Monday to Thursday on Facebook, YouTube, and everywhere good podcasts can be found. Also, check out the website, www.jackalexanderexperiment.com.
Come listen to the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, Tuesday and Thursday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, for the best in late-night conservatarian wireless talk radio at shrmedia.com. Raised as a free-range child with dirt and freedom, BZ is broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California. Jump into our plush, sumptuous, palatial, and resplendent chat room at shrmedia.com. Now, with 18% more umbrage and 20% more bulbosity than previous shows, and with delicious Liberty additives. Remember, BZ realizes that with great beard comes great responsibility. No chinchillas were harmed, embarrassed, or the focus of any sarcasm whatsoever in the making of this ad.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
At Canic Firearms, we believe in the power of freedom. Freedom to protect, to defend, and to live confidently. That's why we're proud to introduce the Canic Mete MC9L and MC9LS, precision-engineered pistols designed for today's American. Whether you're carrying concealed or out at the range, the MC9L and MC9LS are built for accuracy, durability, and comfort. These pistols are the perfect blend of performance and dependability because freedom isn't just a right, it's a responsibility. Canic, superior firearms.
After 6 years covering terror and corruption, the Unpleasant Blind Guy is making a change. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker and YouTube through SHR Media and on the Western Free Radio Network as I team up with Jeff Mitchell, host of the English Defense League radio show on blogtalkradio.com. Check show pages for airtimes. It's the Unpleasant Blind Guy.
On EDL Radio.
There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And I'm back. We are back. I'm BZ. This is the SHR Media Network right there, just like that. Tonight I have some great guests. I have Ralph J. Chittum Sr. I have Lonnie Poindexter. We're in the saloon and we're having a lovely little discussion buttressed with videos and lots of evidence.
Hey, BZ, let me jump in here.
And we're going to talk to this guy next who asks a really important kind of question. Take it away, sir.
Out deciding that the way to get black men to vote for is to offer them free weed, free legal weed. I think they want jobs and cheap groceries, which they had under Donald Trump, which is why so many of them are voting for him. If a white guy were to come along and say, you know what, that's the ticket. I'm going to say I'm going to legalize weed. That'll give me the black men's vote. Wouldn't they be vilified as a racist? It's what white people who are advising Harris think black men want. And that's
okay. Stop right there. That's my point for playing that video. And if I'm not mistaken, Ralph J. Chittum Sr., isn't that exactly your point in terms of who's telling her this is a great idea? You need to do this.
Of course. It's someone that looks at the black community as infantile. We're going to give them weed. We're going to keep them high. We're going to keep them on the plantation. And we're just going to keep giving them handouts. And they're going to continue to vote for us. And then on the other hand, Donald Trump says, I'm going to treat you like a man. Stand up on your own 2 feet. Earn your money. Raise your families. Buy your groceries. Have some pride and have some dignity in yourself. And the black men are saying, that's who we want to listen to.
That's what we want to hear. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And hey, Ralph, when we used to hang out at the Trump Hotel, you saw that mindset and that way of thinking with the staff that was there when they did the hiring and so forth, which is why the service was so good. Folks that were out there just making their own way, weren't looking for any type of a handout or anything like that, making their own way. And it's one of the reasons why I really love hanging out at that hotel.
Yeah. There was a guy who had his own channel who was popular here. He died a couple of years ago. His name was Kevin Samuels. Oh. And he kept talking, and he talked about the truth of the demographic of the black community. Now, what people want to keep talking, they put out there that, black men, 80-90% of black men are deadbeats and, they don't take care of their children, or they're homosexual, or they're in jail, or they're this, or they're that. And he pointed out consistently that over half of the black men are unmarried and don't have children. So the truth of the demographic of the black man, it has been hidden because they've been promoting this caricature of black men as being irresponsible, just to drive this narrative that our women, black women, they need the welfare because the black men aren't taking care of them. That's a lie straight out of the pit of hell.
Yeah.
But where did it come from?
It comes from people in power who are wanting to keep power. People need to understand that power is a commodity. There's only so much power to go around. And those who have power understand that if another group starts to gain power, they lose power because power is a commodity. So therefore, those in power do everything that they can to maintain power to the detriment of everyone who doesn't have it, so they will never gain it. That's what people need to understand. And at the end of the day, if you really want to get down to the brass tacks of it, there is no difference between the 1% of the Republican Party and the 1% of the Democrat Party, because they're marching to the same sheet of music, because no matter who's in charge, they keep getting rich.
They keep getting rich. Yeah.
Well, money, power, and control. It's the perennial triumvirate. If you acquire control, you can get power. If you get power, you can get money. I always go back to this, and this is where, wait a minute, wrong way. This is where I would like you to weigh in, Ralph Chittims, because you're in DC, and I want to have your take on this. Is this accurate? This is a cut, Kevin Spacey, House of Cards, where he talks about power versus money.
Power is a lot like real estate. It's all about location, location, location.
As you can see, the founding fathers didn't plan for this.
Closer you are to the source, the higher your property value.
But I did.
Centuries from now, when people watch this footage, who will they see smiling just at the edge of the frame?
For those of us climbing to the top of the food chain, there can be no mercy. There is but one. Ruthless pragmatism. Welcome to Washington. I've always told myself that everything I did was for her. But maybe it wasn't. Maybe I love power. In the end, I don't care whether you love me or you hate me, just as long as I win. The deck is stacked. The rules are rigged, so I will not be party to this anymore. Meet your new daddy. We don't submit to terror. We make the terror.
So what is it? He said in another cut on House of Cards, it's all about the power. So Ralph Chittims, power, money, control, what's the primary impetus with people in DC? Of those three, what rates first, essentially?
Well, power and money are tied for first. And now, why do you think Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney are supporting Kamala Harris? And why would Kamala Harris accept the support of someone that the Democrat Party has for decades referred to as the Great Satan? The Cheneys are with Kamala because she's a part of the industrial military complex that's going to make sure that Dick Cheney keeps his bankroll flowing for his industrial military contracts. And because he has access to those contracts, he then has access to power. Look, we need to, the people that are at the top of this pyramid are running the biggest game. We are supplying weapons to both sides of every conflict on this planet. We're supplying the Russians and the Ukrainians. We're supplying the Israelis, and we gave $1.8 trillion to the Iranians. The industrial military complex is making money, and they don't care who wins. It's about access to money and access to power. And the ultimate shell game is they convince those of us at the bottom of the food pyramid that my enemy is you, BZ, because you're white. And they try to convince you, BZ, that I'm your enemy because I'm black, when the truth of the matter is our common enemy is Dick Cheney and his cronies at the top of the food chain who are screwing everybody.
In D.C. and other places. That's, for example, I'd like to point this out just for a moment. Why do people who are no longer in power, who no longer have positions, like the 51 former intelligence experts, why do they still have security clearances? Why does anybody who has left DC still have a security clearance? When is anybody who has left their job, left their work, left politics, left employment, left an alphabet agency, why do they still have a security clearance? And that's exactly why.
That security clearance is a guarantee.
It's power.
6-figure check, if not 7.
That you can play off of.
Right.
Exactly. And you can go to, say, I don't know, I'm just making this up. Here's a name, Raytheon. You could go to Raytheon and say, I can be a consultant for you. And here's what I have to share. My security, I have access to information that you do not, nor do any of your people. Do you have anybody in government that's interested in your corporation? I don't think so. I do. I bring that to your table.
At Century Arms, we're committed to supporting your freedom, your rights, and your way of life. With generations of craftsmanship and innovation, we proudly provide firearms that embody the spirit of liberty. Introducing the new Sharp Brothers MB-47 rifle, designed for precision, built for strength, and ready for anything. Whether you're on the range or defending what matters most, the MB-47 rifle is where generation meets innovation. For more information, visit us at centuryarms.com now.
Speaking of bringing something to a table, I found this. Now, this is Stephen Smith, who is a sports commentator, who is about to commentate on something other than sports. And he's fairly strident about this. Steve? Oh, come on, Steve. Wait, here we go.
Had to say.
Let me go back. I want you to hear the very beginning of this.
I want you to hear exactly what this man had to say.
I'm speaking to men directly now. Part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. That's not acceptable.
Respectfully, President Obama, what you said is not acceptable. Is it possible that the only reason some black folks may not be inclined to vote, or they may be a bit disenchanted, or dare I say may even be willing to go as far as voting for Trump, is it possible that it's policy as opposed to misogyny, inflation, the cost of living, the price of gas, the price of groceries? That don't matter? Immigration and our borders, and this belief that there's an elevated level of sensitivity towards them, as opposed to black folks struggling, if not starving, in this country. Yes, that plays a role too. When the mayor of New York was talking about $53 million in prepaid credit cards for immigrants who came across our borders illegally and having prepaid credit cards for them. And I said, wait a minute, black folks been starving for years. We ain't get that. You don't think they notice? Before I go any further,
I'd say that guy was pretty insistent. Yeah. And I'd say that he had a couple of points to make.
Yes, he did.
And I'd say that he's speaking. I don't know this for certain. This is a guess. This is an opinion from the obese rotund one right here. My guess is he's not just speaking for himself. He might possibly be speaking for some other people as well. Not everyone is the same. Not every group is monolithic, as we discussed before. But if he has found the umbrage for this, my guess is that other people have found umbrage as well.
Oh, yeah.
Another video. I'm not going to play all of this, but I want to play just a portion of it.
So Magic Johnson didn't work when it came to
lecturing and scorning black men into voting for Kamala. So they had to bring out the big dog, which is Obama. See, here's the thing about Obama. Obama is very charming, but Obama is deceitful. Period. Charming guy, but very deceitful. So they bring him out to lecture black men. Here's my thing though. Why is it only black men that are being lectured? Why they not lecturing white men or Hispanic men or Indian men into voting for Kamala? Why is it black men? They have kept black men in this perpetual state of being in their emotions, being in fear, and being in the victimhood, that now black men are finally to a state where they can think logically, because there's no way that you can think logically if you're scared. There's no way you can think logically if you're in your feelings. And there's no way that you can think logically if you're a perpetual victim. There's no way. And so that now that
I didn't see a lot of this coming. I should have seen the tsunami building, but it's very interesting to hear. And again, I'm not making this up. I'm not putting words in people's mouths. None of it.
Black men are waking up to the foolishness, and they're able, now that they're thinking and they're doing what they were put on this earth to do, which is be logical creatures and use their brain and not their feelings and their emotions. Now they're getting scorned by Obama, who was trash too, by the way. Like, I'm not understanding. I could see if they gave black people, let alone black men, a reason to continue to vote for them. When that man LBJ said he was going to have us N-words voting for them demonic demon seeds for the next.
Okay, let's stop right there for a second. Anytime you put that phrase up anywhere in social media, you're shot down or completely suspended.
Mm-hmm.
This was documented by a black butler who worked directly for LBJ, and this was a sentence that he spoke. He was politically right about it. He was accurate, but who in the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and other subsequent federal legislation paid people to split the once nuclear black family who had at one point a higher employment rate, who had at one point a higher ownership of businesses?
At Century Arms, we're committed to supporting your freedom, your rights, and your way of life. With generations of craftsmanship and innovation, we proudly provide firearms that embody the spirit of liberty. Introducing the new Sharp Brothers MB-47 rifle, designed for precision, built for strength, and ready for anything. Whether you're on the range or defending what matters most, the MB-47 rifle is where generation meets innovation. For more information, visit us at centuryarms.com now.
Then whites in the United States of America. Where did this all come from?
200 years. I knew when I heard that, not as long as my name is Key Nicole. Baby, no. They're demonic little demon seeds. And they just have black people going along with their political demonic agendas because they know that we are ignorant to the fact of the agendas that they're pushing. If I was to tell my uncle, my black uncle right now, that there are tampons in my son's bathroom, for free, but the tampons in my daughter's bathroom, they have to be paid for. My black uncle will be going.
Okay, let's stop right there. She goes on. She makes an excellent point, as in, what the hell? Again, the whole point of this is, where's this coming from? I mean, we conservatives could and should have been engendering this a long time ago. And I'll be the first to admit we missed the mark. Conservative missed the mark. Republicans missed the mark. Mm-hmm. And a strange guy who's a billionaire came in and said, yeah, I agree. That's kind of stupid. Come one, come all. That's just, and over the years, Ralph, you explained, but over the years, it's like, why possibly would it take a Trump to do this? Now, if you weren't sufficiently shamed before, because as we know, this video from Obama is working so well. It's really working. It's getting people over to the Kamala Harris side immediately, quickly. What about this? Did you guys happen to see this? Let me see if I can get this video to play. I may or may not be able to.
Okay.
Damn it, it's not doing it.
Okay.
I may have to read this. I thought that I had this. Let me try one more thing. And go ahead, Ralph.
No, this was brought to my attention earlier today. And see, and this article is a classical example of the mainstream left-wing media taking a statement and twisting it and turning it into something that it wasn't. Now, the gentleman who made the statement, Shelley, and I forget his last name, he said basically that inside of the African American community, you have house Negroes and field Negroes. And the field Negroes are the ones that are voting for Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. And the house Negroes are the ones that are backing Kamala Harris. Well, if you just stop right there, your first reaction to that question, to that statement is, what the actual hell are you talking about? But then he explains what he's talking about. He says that the field Negroes, the field African Americans who are voting for Donald Trump are the ones who work hard, the ones who work with their hands, are the ones who produce things, are the ones who are out here every day trying to make a way for themselves and their families. The house African Americans are the ones who sit in offices, keep their fingernails clean, push papers, and vote for the Democrats and vote for Kamala Harris. He's basically resurrecting the old Booker T versus W.E.B. argument, where the black people who are about lifting up themselves by their own bootstraps and working hard and not taking advantage of government handouts, he's equating them to the field Negro, Booker T black people who don't want welfare. They want to work for everything that they get and earn everything that they get. But the house Negroes are the gatekeepers. No, those are your Boule and your D9 and your paper pushers who are your gatekeepers, who are trying to keep all black people under the thumb of the Democrat Party on the plantation. Now, the way he phrased it was inartful, and I will hit him for that. But there was absolutely nothing racist in the statement that man made. In fact, the statement that he made is actually true.
Yep.
Because the black people that are supporting Trump right now are not the talented 10th. They're not your PhDs and your doctors and your lawyers and your Indian chiefs. The black people who are supporting Trump are the ones who go into the supermarket every week and basically have to make a life choice when they're in the checkout line.
At Century Arms, we're committed to supporting your freedom, your rights, and your way of life. With generations of craftsmanship and innovation, we proudly provide firearms that embody the spirit of liberty. Introducing the new Sharp Brothers MB-47 rifle, designed for precision, built for strength, and ready for anything. Whether you're on the range or defending what matters most, the MB-47 rifle is where generation meets innovation. For more information, visit us at centuryarms.com now.
So, like I said, that what he said, what Shelley said is absolutely true, but there's absolutely nothing racist in what he said when you actually sit down and listen to his entire statement and his explanation. It is 100% accurate, and there's nothing racist about it.
I found the video. It's not very big, but I do have the audio from it. So you can see the video also. And now we're going to play it and listen. First, it'd help if I turn it on.
Pull this election down in the African-American community to a very simple, I'll reference the great Malcolm X. This race is between House African-Americans and field African Americans. And the field African Americans are going for Donald Trump. I'm talking about your men who build, your men who put things together, your men who work with their hands, your men who do things, not the men who push paper, or the men who are connected to power and want to continue to be connected to power.
Are you denigrating African American men who are professionals who work in white collar jobs? Is that what I'm hearing from you? Or
no?
I'm just trying to understand, is Shelley the house woman or the field woman? I'm just trying to understand that part. I'm just trying to understand. We have someone who's spitting. I'm just trying to understand the one that's spitting talking points right now. Are you the house Negro or the field Negro that you're referring to? So I just want to make sure your question was about denigrating black people. That literally was your question. You have a Republican fool who is talking right now about. You literally just said that black men. You actually just said this is an election about house or field. This is the nonsense that we are listening to right now by those that are supporting Donald Trump.
Look, let me boil.
And that's exactly what you said, Ralph Chittum's.
Yep, exactly.
And would I be so bold as to suggest that this interpretation was intentional? Absolutely 100% intentional.
The misinterpretation, absolutely it was intentional, because if you react emotionally, you hear the word field Negro versus house Negro. Black people, the hair stands up on the back of our neck. So they knew if they could just take his statement and twist it, black people are going to react emotionally and not listen intellectually to what that man said, to understand that what he said is flat out the truth.
Yep.
The biggest group of people still supporting Kamala Harris are black women who are professional college-educated sorority girls. The black girls, the black women who are living in the hood, who may have one or two children, and they're trying to raise those children and going out and buying groceries, they're starting to move over to Trump just like black men, because they understand Kamala doesn't give a hoot about them. But under Trump, they could afford to buy groceries. Under Trump, black unemployment was at historic lows. Under Donald Trump, income increased at a rate unheard of. So his analogy, again, twisted to generate an emotional response, but intellectually, what he said is 100% true.
Right on point, bro. Hey, Kevin McGarry, as you know, Kevin, and you also know him well, BZ, has just finished a book addressing this very thing, where he talks about the house Negro versus the field Negro, and why the field Negro has aligned himself with the brash New Yorker. And you guys are right on point with it. I just had a chance to review an online copy of it. It's going to print right now, and it should be available, I guess, in a couple of weeks, and as they're doing the printing to address that very thing. And they're looking to twist it, and which is what mainstream media does. But that brother was right on point.
What I'd like to do, we're going to have to take a break in about a minute, but I want to put this up. I'm sure you guys saw that. Mark Robinson is one of the most facile speakers for conservatives or for the Republicans that I've heard in quite some time. And now he's suing over CNN's report about posts on a porn site. And if you gentlemen have seen this or have any thoughts about it, I'd like to discuss this on the return when we come back. Is this accurate? Or is it just another attack on a conservative like you guys? I should imagine that you have been skewered and attacked on so many levels that they're almost very, very difficult to regale. You may have stories about that. You probably have 100 stories. You may have 1,000 stories on that. And we'll talk about that when we come back, because you've been the focus. He's the focus right now.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Southern Sense is conservative talk with Annie, the radio chick Ubellis as host, and C.S. Bennett co-host. Informative, fun, irreverent, and politically incorrect. You never know where they'll go, but you'll love the journey. Annie is a top conservative host on Top Talk Radio and features some of the finest guests packed with important politicians and newsmakers. Listen every Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern, noon to 3 Pacific, on the SHR Media Network. Remember, Southern Sense is common sense.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Hi, this is Eric Thompson. Please check out my new weekend review show, For Liberty's Sake, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Check out forlibertysake.com.
Hey, are you guys listening? This is Shannon from Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM on SHR Media. I know you've been wondering where we are and what's been going on. Well, folks, that's right. We're back. So please join us 7 to 9 a.m. Monday through Thursday on SHR Media, on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Spotify, and Facebook Live at 11 a.m. on Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM at Facebook. You don't want to miss a minute. We've got lots of guests, lots of segments, and lots of interesting things. And let's face it, there's nowhere for you to go, so you might as well tune in. Again, Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM. We're back live on the air on SHR Media, 7 to 9 a.m. Monday through Thursday, audio and Facebook Live, audio and video. Yes, we are going to do video. Facebook Live, Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM. Hope to see you soon.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
It's the last portion, the last segment of the show. I'm BZ. You're in the saloon. BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show. Live and direct right on the SHR Media Network. You can go to shrmedia.com, shrmedia.com. Got a great website right there. And also, that's where the show is playing as well. SHR Media, conservative media done right. I am BZ, and I am here with my guests tonight. And I have to say this, because it's obvious. It's the last segment.
Folks, this is BZ's final hour. Step up. Last call for alcohol.
And with me tonight is Ralph J. Chittum Sr., and Lonnie Poindexter. And we were discussing this. Do any of you gentlemen have anything to say or perhaps some insight with regard to Mark Robinson and the claims that were made against him by CNN?
Well, first,
go ahead, Lonnie.
I'll just first say that if anything coming from CNN has got to be suspect. Because I affectionately call them the Pravda of the USA. So I would just say that I've had the good pleasure of meeting Mark Robinson, and I seem, from my vantage point, I seem to be an exemplary man, and I just think he's being railroaded. And I believe that the truth will come out eventually, and I'm glad he's pushing back and fighting back, because this is just a smear campaign before the election. And, there are no rules when it comes to the other side. They do whatever they have to do to be effective and to win. It doesn't have to be right. It doesn't have to be honorable. It doesn't have to be any of that. They just have to win.
I believe this like I believe Trump pissing on a bed.
Right.
No, I too. I know Mark. I'm not going to say he's a friend of mine, but I know Mark. I've met his wife. I don't believe any of this is true. And let me tell you a little story.
At Century Arms, we're committed to supporting your freedom, your rights, and your way of life. With generations of craftsmanship and innovation, we proudly provide firearms that embody the spirit of liberty. Introducing the new Sharp Brothers MB-47 rifle, designed for precision, built for strength and ready for anything. Whether you're on the range or defending what matters most, the MB-47 rifle is where generation meets innovation. For more information, visit us at centuryarms.com now.
Okay? And Lonnie knows this to be true because Lonnie was with me in real time when this all played out. A number of years ago, someone took my name and my information and created a profile on a homosexual dating site using my information. So on this homosexual dating site, there was Ralph J. Chittum Sr. looking to hook up with men to have sex. I've been happily married to my wife now for 41 years. I have never been anywhere near anything close to a Diddy party. But this is what Democrats do. They created this homosexual dating profile for me to try to create doubt about me, about my morality, about who I am and what it was that I do. So no, if they would do that to me, just a little state party official who's not running to be the governor of a state, they would absolutely create this false information about Mark Robinson. I don't believe it for a New York second.
Okay, and I find that very interesting. It's like claims made during times of political turbulence. So you made a very interesting point. It was during your involvement in politics then, if I am listening to you correctly.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And they created this dating profile for me on this homosexual website. And me being me, I didn't shrink from it. I actually broadcast it and gave it more life than it had before I found out about it, and basically put everyone on notice. If I ever found out who did it, understand there's going to be a misunderstanding.
On the other hand, we shouldn't be shocked because the depths to which leftists and Democrats will fall in terms of lies, deceit, betrayal, as I indicate, knows no bounds, up to and including assassination, up to and including attempted assassination.
Yes.
3 times. That's as far as everybody will go. And the rhetoric isn't stopping. It's becoming even more strident. Let's go to this. Here's, this is, I think, a very interesting, very nicely done, assembled Trump ad. Oh, come on. Let me go back. Here we go.
This sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners, every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
Hell no, I don't want my taxpayer dollars going to that.
Kamala supports transgender sex changes in jail with our money.
Kamala even supports letting biological men compete against our girls in their sports. Kamala is for they, them. President Trump is for you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Kamala support.
True. A great ad that leftists will attempt to dispute, but essentially it is indisputable. Here's another truth bomb. I'm sorry, do you have a comment, Ralph?
No, I was going to say it's all true. Everything in that ad was true. Kamala is pandering to the transsexuals because she needs their votes. Kamala is pandering to the Islamic jihadists because she needs their vote.
Let's listen to this. Let me see if I can put this up on the stage and go.
I know that I have been laying low politically because, again, I've been indicted. Understand something. I've been indicted by the Biden administration as a Black woman for standing against the murder of innocent children, including and especially especially because they take up the biggest margin, Black babies, okay? So now Biden has stepped down, right? And I have been laying low. I've been like, listen, I'm not saying nothing. I'm going to just live my life. I'm in Vegas. I'm about to go to the buffet. I'm just trying to eat. I'm trying to be at Sphere. And I'm trying to be at Flyover Vegas, enjoying my little life with my husband before sentencing. But I have to say something.
Okay, do you guys know who this person is?
Yes, we do.
Okay, let me, for those, and I would guess the bulk of people are not going to know who this is. So let me, before I go there, I have frequently said that leftists are truly the racists. There are white
Always
racists
have been.
and there are black racists. Here's a leftist who couldn't be more honest, I have to admit. At least this person comes out and says all these blacks for Trump should be sent back to Africa and take Trump with them. That's the cool, loving, wonderful leftist. Well, let's go to the story. Tennessee woman gets over 3 years in prison for blocking a clinic during a protest, and she was sent to prison today. Now, there are some very interesting points, some salient points to this that need to be discussed. So this woman, for blocking an abortion clinic, gets sentenced. That was the woman that you just heard. Gets sentenced to 41 months. Now, 41 months is 3 years and 5 months. So she gets 3 years and 5 months for blocking an abortion clinic. But wait, there's more. That's federal prison. This was June of 2020. Also accused of injuring a woman's hand. If that woman's hand had been truly injured back then, over 4 years ago, why wasn't this woman, Williams, arrested at that point? Because in New York, you had a physical injury, and that was a claim at that point. Well, first, it took them 3+ years to make a decision. And as you recall, that was the year of insurrections, where violent masked protesters rioted, burned, smashed over $3 billion worth of personal, business, and government property. 25+ people were killed. And yet, and I forgot, and multiple thousands of law enforcement officers were injured, many of them seriously. So this woman goes to jail for protesting in front of an abortion clinic because she dared to offend the current administration. Now, 2020, that was then. That was under Trump. Now it's a different administration because she dared to offend this administration, the Harris-Biden administration. And mostly it's leftist Attorney General Merrick Garland. So other rioters in 2020 committed actual acts of violence, of arson, physical assaults, DOJ, NI, not interested, two completely different and separate applications of justice, one for leftists and elitists, and then others for conservatives. And under that conservative umbrella are people of all paint jobs because there is betrayal involved. Gentlemen?
Well, absolutely. The prime example, where's the prosecution for the murderer of David Dorn?
Yes.
He was the black security guard that was murdered during the BLM riot.
Yes, former police officer.
Right. Where's his prosecution? And what was Bevelyn's crime? She was praying outside of a Planned Parenthood center. That's her obstruction. She was praying. I was a part of a protest outside of a Planned Parenthood center here in Washington, D.C. And the police got word that we were going to be outside of this Planned Parenthood facility, and they showed up like it was going to be a riot. I mean, we showed up, there were over a dozen police cars there, and they arrested 3 college students for writing with chalk on the sidewalk. Writing with chalk, not paint like the mayor did downtown, a block from the White House, where she used paint to paint a BLM sign in the middle of the entire street. These kids wrote pro-life messages in chalk that would be washed away by the next rain, and they were arrested.
Assault chalk with priors. Here's another woman. And I love to let these people speak for themselves. These people have things to say, and I'm going to let them talk tonight. If I hit the right button.
The words of Malcolm X, who told us what? That the white liberal is the worst enemy to the black man.
Yes.
And it is coming up in here, acting like y'all representing some social justice.
Say that,
but all along, you're doing is trying to use black people to find a reason to make some money. Let me tell y'all something over there. With done, the Democratic Party is done.
Abuse the black American.
Gonna come in here and gonna clean it up. Do just like R.A. Jr., just do like that Tulsa lady. You better get up out the Democratic Party. Save yourself. Because if y'all don't, we coming for your seats. We ain't taking no disrespect from a bunch of people who have broke into the country and now have completely broke the city, have completely disgraced the United States of America. America is a disgrace. The number.
She's pissed because what she's discovering is, my 3-hour show last night was about this premise. The Harris-Biden administration despises actual Americans. And she's upset, and rightfully so, because she just now discovered I'm not a priority. I'm an American, but I'm not a priority. And all these other people have a priority over me. And the answer to that is, why? Why did that happen?
This is what the Harris Waltz message is to black men. So bump that plan she just released yesterday, because last time I checked, she ain't been checking for y'all since she got in office. And by the way, Obama, there's white, Hispanic, Asian, Indian, all kinds of people not voting for Kamala Harris. So how dare you single out black men and act like it's their fault?
That was in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yep.
The last place you would expect something like that to be said.
The brotherhood, they're realizing just how much y'all don't do for them. So why don't y'all acknowledge black men when they do something right, instead of always criticizing them whenever something goes wrong? And black people, I'm gonna need y'all to get out y'all feelings, because it ain't no money in that, and the real hustlers know that. Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. See, you know for a fact your life was better under Trump. So yes, we are going back. Going back to financial stability, going back to supporting entrepreneurship.
Wonderfully said.
Absolutely.
Accurate. And as she indicated, the numbers don't lie. The numbers aren't lying. How do you dispute that? Well, you follow it up with, I guess, maybe a dose of maybe more racism.
This, as an American,
let's talk about Kamala
makes
Harris.
me really concerned.
Let's talk about Kamala Harris.
As a black lesbian who Donald Trump doesn't believe has genes as good as his, is he going to attempt to exterminate me
why do you
when
believe
he
that,
gets
Aisha?
elected?
Why do you
Because
believe
he's
that?
damn near said it. That's why, David. That's why.
Because he's,
okay, and I'm not
has
going
he
to be
said that,
lectured by some white man who has no idea what he's talking about and is trying to rewrite history here.
Aisha,
I
shame
am
on you,
afraid,
Aisha.
as an American,
Aaron.
of a Donald Trump presidency, and his actual quotes
Shame
are
on you,
why.
Aisha.
Because I take him seriously, and I.
Let me stop right there. What quote? Quote that for me. Quote that from me. I don't see a quote. I don't hear a quote. I'm sorry, Ralph, go ahead.
There are no quotes. Again, this is all. See, and here's something else that people see. Okay, I'm going to jump into the deep end of the pool right now. People need to understand something about Kamala Harris and her mother and her father.
Mm-hmm.
Kamala Harris is a Brahmin.
Mm-hmm.
That's the caste system from India. Her parents are Brahmins. Brahmins hate Black people. Brahmins don't want anything to do.
At Canic Firearms, we believe in the power of freedom. Freedom to protect, to defend, and to live confidently. That's why we're proud to introduce the Canic Mete MC9L and MC9LS, precision-engineered pistols designed for today's American. Whether you're carrying concealed or out at the range, the MC9L and MC9LS are built for accuracy, durability, and comfort. These pistols are the perfect blend of performance and dependability, because freedom isn't just a right, it's a responsibility. Canic, superior firearms.
With Black people. The only reason Kamala's mother married that Jamaican man is because he too was a Brahmin. Of Indian and Irish ancestry.
Preach.
There's nothing about Kamala Harris that is sympathetic to Black people. Nothing at all. And people need to, like I said, I'm jumping in the deep end of the pool. Yeah, I'm going to bring it up. No, Kamala Harris is not African American. Kamala Harris is not Black. There are Indians in India who are darker than the darkest Black person you will ever see on the continent of Africa, and they do not identify themselves as African or Black. They are Indians.
Indian.
So no, Kamala Harris doesn't care about Black people. And then let's wrap it up with this. Who cares more about you? The person that tells you to get off your behind and go get a job or make something of yourself, or the person that puts you in a big tank at SeaWorld and keeps you captive to the point that your dorsal fin collapses and you become a cripple, and then you're relying on someone else to throw a fish in your mouth when you should be out in the ocean controlling your own destiny. Who is your friend? The captive or the person who tells you to get off your butt and take care of yourself?
You could almost say that the federal government cares more about animals than it does about people. It's eminently provable. Don't feed the bears. Why don't you want the bears fed? Because it makes bears dependent on the handout and keeps the bears from learning how to deal with life by themselves. Yeah. Okay, maybe that's a crappy reference, but it happens to be true.
It's very true.
What do we got? We got about 8 more minutes on the show. I want to spend the last 8 minutes with Ralph and Lonnie specifically, because I want to play this. I think I played this for Ralph earlier. I'm sorry the video was not bigger, but you'll be able to hear the audio of this. This is Pastor John Amanchukwa calls out weak men who permit the sexualization of kids in schools. And this goes to the point of, where are the pastors? What's going on with them? We need them now more than ever. This guy does not mind speaking truth publicly.
No, I got a gavel too. Here is the gavel. That's my gavel. The gavel is the truth. You're either a punk or a pervert. A punk or a pervert if you don't remove this book. That's what you are. All 6 men on this board, you're a punk or a pervert if you don't remove it. That's the truth. If you leave it in here, you're a punk or a pervert. Remove the trash. Take it out tonight.
Now stop here just for a second. Who's on that board? All white people. Did they vote Democrat? You bet your ass they did. Guaranteed. If they're supporting this.
These students deserve better. You're either a punk or a pervert if you leave it in here. Every last one of you men.
Stop. Somebody has to fight now. And it needs to be from the pulpit as well. We need to see more of that. Ralph J. Chittum Sr., Lonnie Poindexter, why? They're not interested in speaking up for themselves. Speaking up against the people that would carve them up, pull them out of the pulpit, throw them out of the building, set the building on fire, and end their religion.
This is something Ralph and I talk about often. If you think of the civil rights movement, it was birthed in and of the church. You know, pastors rose up, spoke, Dr. Martin Luther King and many others, and brought about change. This time around,
at Century Arms, we're committed to supporting your freedom, your rights, and your way of life. With generations of craftsmanship and innovation, we proudly provide firearms that embody the spirit of liberty. Introducing the new Sharp Brothers MB-47 rifle, designed for precision, built for strength, and ready for anything. Whether you're on the range or defending what matters most, the MB-47 rifle is where generation meets innovation. For more information, visit us at centuryarms.com now.
I don't see the church doing, not in significant numbers from pastors. There's pastors like Pastor Ralph, and there are others, but many who are quiet, and they fall into that category Ralph was mentioning of the house Negro, as we call them. And so it's taking place elsewhere on college campuses, in social media primarily. And just like that lady that got up that was very angry and speaking up, Sister Bevelin, who they, she's being castigated because she spoke up and she spoke the truth about what's taking place. There's many others that are doing the same thing. And so that's why this thing is building and building. And I don't think the left is going to be able to stop it. I don't care what they do. But I am chagrined because it's not happening in the pulpit the way it needs to. And I've always seen the pastors as the field generals. And when the field generals speak up because they get their messages from on high, looking above, then it stirs the congregation. And then you have what took place in the civil rights movement. Ralph, you have any comments on that you could add to what I'm saying or direct me in a more concise manner?
Well, the problem is too many pastors are not getting their messages from on high. They're getting their messages from the DNC.
That's their first religion, huh?
Right. That's, I can count on my two hands the number of pastors that I am actually on friendly terms with, and it has absolutely nothing to do with my theology, because my theology is rock solid. The problem that they have is with my politics. Now, see, what they understand that as long as they don't bite the hand that feeds them, their 501c3 is going to be protected, and they're still going to get money for their daycare center, and they're still going to get money for their senior center. But they understand that as soon as they run afoul of their Democrat plantation masters, the same thing that they're doing to Eric Adams in New York is going to happen to them. Because if Eric Adams had kept his good little Negro boy mouth shut and not complained about Joe Biden and the border, they wouldn't have given a damn about how many airline tickets he had on Turkish Air. But the minute he stepped out of line, they had to smack him down and put him in place. And too many pastors right now are more beholden to the political system and the money and the graft and the grift that they get than they are to their calling from God, and they have misplaced their first love.
Amen, amen, amen. Yes.
And this is why I don't have any friends.
Gentlemen, I got to say this. Thank you for being here tonight. I greatly appreciate it. In closing, would both of you like to say something with regard to either organizations that you're affiliated with, social media you may have, churches you may know, and or attend, or any kind of things that you'd like people to know about in terms of you, where they can find you or reach you, or know a little bit about your background? Ralph?
Well, I'm going to keep my church's name out of social media,
okay,
because I don't want anyone showing up and giving my members a hard time for anything political that I say. But what I will say about this election cycle is I want all of your listeners to operate as though Donald Trump is 10 points behind in every county and state across this country. Don't act like he's in the lead. Act like he's 10 points behind, and do everything that you can to drive everyone that you know to the polls, because they're already trying to start to cheat. And we need to make sure that we build up such an insurmountable lead that they can't cheat Kamala Harris into the White House.
Final question for you, Ralph Chittims. Do you suspect, this is just a question, no real prognostication, is it possible for Donald Trump to win?
I expect him to win, yes.
Okay. All righty. Lonnie Poindexter, any other social media organizations, et cetera, or any conclusions that you'd like to draw from tonight, sir?
I would just say that I agree with Ralph. I expect him to win, but we have to be vigilant and conscious of the fact that they will do everything they can to cheat, because that's what they do. They don't play fair at all. And so we have to be vigilant in that regard. I'll just mention that, as I've said on prior broadcasts for you, brother, that I'm working with everyblm.com. That's everyblackLifeMatters.com. And we are the antithesis of BLM. And we're launched just to directly attack BLM on matters that are important, like the life issue, what's truly happening within the Black community, speaking truth to that organization and those who mistakenly followed it, like many members of the church did. And so we're trying to educate the church that they need to separate themselves from that. It's not a legitimate organization. It was just a flim-flam. So that's then BLM, like Black Lives Matters, everyblm.com, and you'll find information on the work that we're doing. Kevin just finished a book that's talking about the thing we talked about earlier, and that is talking about the field Negro versus the house Negro. So the timing was great to discuss that today. And Neil Mammon, who was the other co-founder of the organization, has just finished a book talking about how to end racism effectively in our nation, if it does indeed exist, and how it exists, and who are the true purveyors of it. As we all know, white guilt liberals. So I just want to mention that again. Thank you, brother, for allowing me to be on the show. Thank you, brother Ralph, for doing what you do best, man. I took notes the whole time you was talking.
Stop.
Well, gentlemen, and also Lonnie, when his book comes out and I read it, I'd like to have him for a guest. I think that'd be a wonderful thing to do. And Ralph J. Chittims Sr., would you be interested in coming back to the saloon sometime in the not too terribly distant future, sir?
I would love to. Thanks for the invite, and thank you for having me on tonight. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you ever so kindly, gentlemen. Well, that's it for the show. I'm BZ. We spoke tonight to Ralph J. Chittims Sr., pastor, and also my good friend Lonnie Poindexter. And at the conclusion of the show, what usually occurs? Something like this. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thanks for listening to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show. Live and direct right here on Rumble, on the SHR Media Group, and numerous places that fabuloso podcasts can be found. Promotional consideration as per normal, because I was lucky to get them, is also by the Skunk Works, Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, by Shure and Electro Voice microphones, by Arrakis boards, I use one, and also by Pratt & Whitney engines, dependable thrust you can trust. Also, thanks to my personal KC-135 Kettle One refueling team, with whom I will be consorting in about 10 minutes or so, 50 feet from where I am. This very place right here, that way, right out that door. Thanks again to my guests, Ralph J. Chittum Sr. and Lonnie Poindexter. Thanks to everybody who was in chat tonight. I had a whole bunch of people. I'm sorry I didn't mention you by name. I'm not that facile with technology. Thanks for listening live. Thanks for listening in podcast and listening later. Thanks to SHR Media. Everybody, God bless, take care, and be safe.
Everybody quiet down now and get some sleep.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Ben. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, children. Good night, Daddy. Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
What's going on? I was asleep. What's everybody doing?
Good night.
Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night and good luck.
At Century Arms, we're committed to supporting your freedom, your rights, and your way of life. With generations of craftsmanship and innovation, we proudly provide firearms that embody the spirit of liberty. Introducing the new Sharp Brothers MB-47 rifle, designed for precision, built for strength, and ready for anything. Whether you're on the range or defending what matters most, the MB-47 rifle is where generation meets innovation. For more information, visit us at centuryarms.com now.